Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be showing you how to make orchestral melodies like Section 8 for Lil Baby. For those that don't know who Section 8 is, he's a producer who has been producing for Lil Baby. He made The Bigger Picture, the recent song Everybody by Lil Baby, and he's notorious for that dark orchestral sound. So yeah, I'm gonna be showing how to make samples in that style. I'm gonna be going through one of my more recent samples from a sample pack that I just did with Synthetic. It's got 20 samples total from both of us, so I'll leave a link down in the description for that. So yeah, I'm just gonna break down the patterns, effects, and all that, so let's get right into it. I have the sample all sequenced out right here. It's got 3 different sections, and then it has all the stems layered afterwards. But I'll go ahead and play the full sample so you guys can hear how it sounds. Like I said, there's 3 sections, and then I'll break down everything I did for the sample. Yeah, as you can hear, it's very orchestral. It's got the piano, a lot of energy. There were some crackles and pops, but that's just because my computer sucks. So yeah, there's 3 sections. You got the first section with the violin, like the long string, and then it kind of goes into a staccato string. Staccato is just a really short, like hard-hitting string, and then I just pitched it up an octave. So yeah, those are the 3 different sections. Got the piano, a pad, the strings, and then a bass, and then that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the piano first. Alright, so as you can see, I got the piano pulled up here. It's just a preset from Keyscape called a Rich Ballad, so nothing fancy there. And then I got this pattern here that I pulled in from Synthetic, and it's pretty simple. It's just a bunch of chords kind of repeating, and then the root note drops down. I'll go ahead and play it without the effects so you can hear what it sounds like. Yeah, then it just repeats. So something that's really prevalent in Lil Baby style loops is that the root note will drop down towards the end, or like halfway through. It'll drop down 4 semitones, and then sometimes it'll drop down again to 5. So for this loop, it only dropped down to 4, but I'll go ahead and play what it would sound like if it dropped down again. Yeah, it doesn't sound good with this loop, but for some loops it does that. That's just a little trick. For this pattern, it's pretty much the same exact pattern as the first half. The root note is dropped down 4 semitones, and it just kind of gives it that really like Lil Baby Section 8 kind of feel. So yeah, nothing too complicated, just some chords. And then for effects, just added a reverb, EQ'd out highs, lows, EQ'd out some more of the highs, some more of the lows, and then took out some of the harsh frequencies and boosted the low mid. So I'll play it with the effects. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the piano. Alright, so next I'm going to go over what I did for the strings. For the first section, I pulled up Philharmonic, and I pulled up full strings preset. So I just laid down this pattern with the full strings. Can't really explain my thought process, just kind of I just kind of went with the piano. Section 8 and Lil Baby, a lot of their songs, they have like repeated triplets like this, kind of like that. And as you can see throughout the whole pattern for the string, it just goes every bar or whatever. So yeah, I'll go ahead and play the pattern so you can hear what it sounds like without any effects. At the end here, I have two different patterns for the first half and then for the second half, just to add some variation. And then for effects, put on some reverb, delay, and then took out some of the harsh frequencies, took out some of the highs, some of the lows, and then took out even more of the lows and highs. And so with all the effects, it sounds like this. Okay, and then for the second pattern, I knew that I wanted to switch up, so I wanted a different pattern. I pulled up Philharmonic again and got the full strings but staccato. Once again, for effects, just reverb, imager to widen it up, and then EQ'd out the lows and highs. And then I lay down this really repetitive pattern right here, and then it switches up on the second half. So I'll go ahead and play what it sounds like. And then it just repeats. And then for the third part of the sample, it actually, this is actually the one that's pitched up. So for the second part of the sample, it was this, just an octave lower. And then for the third part, it is pitched up an octave. So yeah, little differences like that are huge, because when producers use your samples, they have, you know, options for different sections of the beat that they want to use, you know, different parts, and it just makes the beat more interesting and your samples more interesting. So yeah. Next, I got this pad from Labs called Piano Pads Glass 1. Labs is a free plugin. I highly recommend it. Got some really good sounds in there, and like I said, it's free. So for this, I just wanted to have something kind of just in the background to make it a little bit more ambient. So I copied the pattern from the piano, the same exact pattern, and I added halftime, a lot of reverb, plugin called Valhalla Shimmer. This plugin, Finisher Micro, I know I mentioned it in my last video, but it was free, or still is free, I still can't remember. But it has a lot of presets, a lot of good stuff in here. I added this one to just kind of add some like high-pitched ambient noise, and then I EQ'd out some of the low mids, and then the bass and some of the high end. So I'll go ahead and play what the pad sounds like. Like I said, really ambient, just kind of in the background. And then lastly, the last thing that I added was a synth bass. This is a one shot, just a standard synth bass. I don't think I added anything to it. Oh, I did. EQ'd out some of the high end and some of the very low end. And I just laid down this pattern. I kind of followed the root note, but I added some slide. So I'll go ahead and play how that sounds. And then it just repeats after that. So that's pretty much it for the sample. The rest is obviously just leveling, making sure the sounds are at the right volumes, a little bit of panning, a little bit of stereo. And then for the master, I just boosted the gain to make it a little bit louder. And then from there, it's just sequencing. So like I said, I put 3 different sections, and then I just have the stems afterwards separated. The reason why I separate them is because there's some, you know, reverb and like noise afterwards, so you don't want the stems to be bleeding into each other, so you want to separate them. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the sample. This is how I make loops in the style of Lil Baby and Section 8, and hopefully you learned something. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description for the sample pack, and yeah, see you in the next video.